Namaskar, everybody. Namaskar, the global Hindus. Namaskar, the people who are listening to this talk. It's a wonderful initiative. My topic is Hindutva for world peace and environment. As we all know, Indians are present in over 100 countries today, or we may say that they are present in nearly every country. They get assimilated into the society where they migrate and even where they are forced to migrate, like case of Fiji, Mauritius, Trinidad, Guyana, etc. No country can complain about lawlessness due to Hindus or complain of they being drain of the society or the economy. In fact, they are an asset in every society they go. This is the literal expression of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, world is one family. Hindus had spread around the world even in ancient times, being dominant in trade. This is proven by ancient relics, most importantly murtis and worshipped idols, popping up around the world during excavations around the world. Right from Americas to Middle East to Europe, Asia, all the places. Most importantly, we can still see the influence in places like China, Southeast Asia, and all the entire Southeast Asia and Japan. However, there are no documents that have been recovered which show that Hindus had destroyed any civilization or converted people by force. They are still remembered fondly with respect wherever they had reached, much different from the way erstwhile colonizers are being remembered, that is, the essence of Hinduness. They respect every faith, every civilization. They assimilate it or they get assimilated without giving up their uniqueness or asking others to give their uniqueness up. Hindus don't claim that theirs is the only religion that is true and that only their God is supreme. They say mine is true and yours is true too. True too. They have inherited the Vedantic view, which many people are repeated, that all truth has many ways, all lead to one. And this is why I say that we can only echo Swami Vivekananda, what he spoke in Chicago many years back. It is strange that a community that has been forced the worst Holocaust for centuries, that saw millions perish, whose killings were glorified by the invaders by piling up skulls like towers and measured the killed ones with the weight of their sacred threads. Janeu is painted negatively, and those who wrought such miseries on them are glorified. Despite this noble, inclusive, democratic faith, its pluralism, there have been a sustained efforts to create Hinduphobia. Hindus need to come out of the dark shadows created by the obsessed dismantlers. I think Hindu society punches far below its weight. It is high time Indians begin addressing world community at large. I have met Chinese, British, USA think tanks and consulate officials, and many times I see that they are surprised at their lack of knowledge of Indian history and culture. When you tell them any information, give them information, they said we never knew it. Because the world libraries are full of anti-Hindu books, they are full of Hinduphobia, they are full of the books which actually wipe away the horrendous history and the glorious past of India both. In the last century, three dominant thoughts have been in conflict and brought destruction on the societies and nature. Imperialist colonist nations rode on the shoulders of church, justifying the brutal oppression of the indigenous people and slavery using the book. Different books, but all books being used to spread their imperialism and also oppress the local people. Only Hindus have never justified slavery, but even that was justified, these people of the book. They wrought indescribable destruction of the nature and the people. Islam, Christianity, communism, believing in only our way, have destroyed more lives and civilizations than even the natural catastrophe in their belief that they have a duty and a mission to convert others to their worldview. If you realize that only Hindus have no concept of non-believer or of kafir or a sinful, how they destroyed the civilizations, to quote Swami Vivekananda from his Chicago address, sectarianism, bigotry and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, have possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled earth with violence, drenched it with often with human blood, destroyed civilizations, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been those horrible demons, human society would have been far more advanced than it is now. So this is how we have been, the world has been exploited and put into a horrendous place by these people. The competing ideologies of capitalism and communism strove to prove material comfort to the society and in the process exploited the nature mercilessly in a way that today we are literally on the edge. The earth is literally on the edge. Climate change and ecological disasters have become more and more severe. They believe that only human beings matter, not other living beings or nature. Only difference between the two ideologies has been who owns the resources, individual or the state. None of them realize that man does not live by bread alone. In Hindu worldview, there is not just physical but spiritual dimension to human beings. They need to satiate their spiritual hunger too. This is the integral view of human being and the society, and this is what is required in the world today. The failure of these systems has led to decay in the institution of family. Not only families, actually destruction of families, not just decline. Annihilation of man-woman relationship in the name of individual freedom and huge number of children who are being raised by single parents or the state. The extreme form of individualism, which talks only of self-satisfaction and self-rights, has to be replaced by the old Hindu dictum of family and society with sense of duty and dharma, which is bound by the sense of dharma. Only that can lead to peace, and that can lead to a better society, better family. Because if family is happy, the society is happy. If society is happy, the nation is happy. Today in West, more than 30% children are on antidepressants officially, legally, because of these problems. In the words of Professor R. Vaidyanathan, in the West, families have been nationalized and industry and commerce have been privatized. At the end of it all, these efforts for super luxurious, hunger-free life, people are still not sure if they are indeed happy, and more people turn to East, to Hindu Dharma, to Buddha to satiate their spiritual hunger and find purpose to life. None of the hundreds of peace accords have brought peace, because for peace one needs to give and take, win some, lose some. Expansionism and colonialism has only changed the form. Mentality is same, to corner the resources and to accumulate. Powerful nations, MNCs, IT giants need to concede that others can have a legitimate point of view and mindset. The people who wish to control the destiny of the nations need to accept that we all have right to peaceful life the way we are, not the way others want me or want you to be. And this is a big point, that we let people be, we let people the way they want to live. This is where Hinduness or Hindu way of life is very important. If we wish to prosper together, live together, what has India, that is Bharat, the longest living civilizations, to offer? I'll summarize. There is one truth that wise ones describe in different ways. It is the only way to reduce conflicts. We need to celebrate the idea of republic of faiths, where diversity of thought and expression is respected and enjoyed. We can have harmony, but we cannot have uniformity. The effort to create a uniform civilization through the eyes of West has created havoc in the societies where they have gone. Does West know? West know that only Hindu Dharma has had no problem with LGBT and it did not treat them as criminals. That is the beauty of Hindu Dharma. We need to treat world as one family, not as one market, to be exploited by the powerful. Refusal to part with IPR of the COVID vaccine by the big MNCs, vis-a-vis the way India offered its source code, offered its services to the world. Their well-wishers versus the readiness of India to share its typical example is the approach. This is truly the reflection of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Our rishis never demanded copyright, they never kept a secret. In fact, they pass on the knowledge to the society, to their successors. That is how knowledge has been passed on in India for generations. We don't hold back knowledge, we share knowledge. We need a health system that is preventive, not prescriptive. We prefer prescriptions for the sick and keep finding new drugs for the new diseases. We need to strive for holistic health of mind and body. That is yoga and Ayurveda, the science of life. Why India sees less mortality among the aged? If you look at the COVID situation today, why India had the low mortality among the aged? Because families took care of the elders, not old age homes. because social organizations took upon themselves to fight pandemic and help each other, not look upon the state or central governments. Institution of family is a blessing. It's not a curse as left would have us believe. It will be difficult for people in the West to imagine that more than 1 million people were on the roads to help the troubled victims, whether they were sick, whether they were unemployed due to lockdown. The society itself continuously helped them. It was not left to the governments to take care of the people. This so this is the reason there are less traumas in post-COVID world. There are less psychological issues because families took care not just of the sick but also of their mental health. Upanishad wisdom says, "Tena tekten bhunjita." Take only that which is sufficient for your requirements. Do not accumulate more than required as it is undesirable. Jay Sages called this qualities aparigraha. In the world of Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Earth has enough for our needs but not our greed. It is noted by the observers that if every country wants the consumption levels of the citizens of USA, it would take 7 or 8 Earths to support such a consumption. Hindu approach of controlling your consumption is the prescription for overcoming our urge to acquire and accumulate at any cost. Next message is respect nature. Hindus don't deify nature and animals because they are superstitious. They do it to instill respect for those elements of nature that help us live our lives. If biodiversity thrives, we can live. If nature survives, we can survive. The Western idea of conquering the nature is very shallow idea. We need to respect the nature and work with the nature. We have seen enough in the last 2 years to understand how a simple wink of the nature leaves entire civilization out to conquer nature, leaves it in tatters. Hindus are the only people who have Shanti Mantra or prayer for peace, which wishes peace not just for human beings, the two-leg, but also for the four-leg, for the creatures and the plants and the nature. Herein lies the secret of saving the planet and us. Lastly, West needs to follow the idea of karma. You are responsible for the consequences of karma, your action. You cannot exploit human beings, you cannot kill human beings, you cannot destroy nature and then expect something good to happen on the day of the judgment. There is no day of the judgment. The day of the judgment is today. And for that today, we have to take care of our own actions. We have to take responsibility of our own karma. That is the principle. You can't take the responsibility and expect Almighty to save you from the consequences. We need to own up our actions and their consequences. There is more to India than the caste system that is thrown upon us. We need to work hard to share the beauty of the Hindus' culture, traditions, and knowledge systems, which is not just mysticism but hard science. My topic is not today the prosperity of India, the way it shared the prosperity with the world. So I am not talking about that. I am told that you are better heard in the West if you play victimhood card, but I don't believe so. My view is that Hindus need to assert themselves by sharing their strength and also talk about true history of that achievements as well as persecution, not play victim card. I hope our global Hindu brethren can spread this message of holistic harmony and help world achieve peace and leave behind a better environment that our future generation can enjoy. धन्यवाद.
One